Welcome to the Red Life Special, a slow burn for your soul. Real voice notes, real feelings, real healing. I am Elaine Renee. Let's get into it. Let's do a mental check-in. Before we dive in, take a deep breath. How are you feeling today? Be honest. I'll go first. I'm feeling really apprehensive about releasing this recording, as it voices something that I feel is very cruel. So, this episode is called Hours Before Your Departure. This is a voice memo I recorded back in February the 7th at 2024 about the last time I saw my mother alive. This was a short memo, so let me give you some background. September the 5th, 2023 is the last day I saw my mother. I'm sorry. Yeah, saw her alive. She had COPD, which weakened her heart. She also had stage 4 cancer, which had spread it to her lymph nodes, but the cancer had went into remission. I think it was August the 30th or the 31st, I had took her to the lung doctor. And she kept getting fluid around her lungs. But like no doctors, the cancer doctors didn't know why she was getting the fluid because the fluid wasn't cancerous. The heart doctor didn't know why she was getting the fluid, and the lung doctor didn't know why she was getting the fluid. So she would just go back and forth to each doctor. So when I took her to see the lung doctor, he came up with a plan of action, and he was like, "Hey, what we'll do is you just go to the hospital. I know you don't want to go, but you go to the hospital. We get the fluid off of your lungs, and then we'll work on your heart." He really felt like that the heart was the issue and why she kept getting the fluid around her lungs. So she was elated. She was happy because, it was a plan of action. It's like, okay, cool. We know what we're gonna do now. We know what the problem is. So she went to the hospital, I think like the next day or so, which ended up leading over the weekend. And I didn't get to see her. It was like I took her home, and then Deja took her to the hospital like a day or so afterwards, and then I ended up not seeing her over the weekend. And then I came to see her Monday, the 4th, September the 4th, which was Labor Day. And when I walked in, I could tell something wasn't right. She just seemed so defeated, so just her energy just, I knew it. I knew that it wasn't good. And she looked at me and she said, "Elaine, I'm really sick." So she had been in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days, and they just could not get that fluid off of her lungs because every time they would try to administer the medication to get it off her lungs, either it would drop her heart rate. Was it her heart rate or her blood pressure? It was either her heart rate or her blood pressure. And then they would give her medication to get it back up, and then her oxygen levels would fall. So she was on the it's not a CPAP. It was a different machine, they called it. It was a little bit bigger than the CPAP machine. But she had to stay on there. She couldn't take that off at all. Once she took that off, her oxygen levels would drop dramatically. So it was like they was just going back and forth. They would, get one level up, the oxygen level up, then the blood pressure would drop. And they get the blood pressure up, then the oxygen it was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So this went on for a while. I think she knew. I think she knew that it was the end because she started trying to tell me, what stuff at. Oh, this diamond bracelet is such and such. And I was like, "Mama, no, you're coming out here. I don't want to hear it. I wasn't trying to hear it. I brushed her off. Like, no, you're leaving out of here. We're not at no. Mm-mm. And then, the doctors had decided they wanted to put her. They wanted to. She was at Paulding County Wellstar Hospital, and Wellstar Kennesaw had a better cardio, heart special. Like, they specialize with the heart, so they decided that they wanted to move her to that hospital, but the only way they was gonna be able to do it was to put her on a ventilator and air flight her, because the machine she was on wasn't going to sustain her for a ride in the ambulance to the hospital. She wouldn't have made it. So they needed something stronger, and they need to get her there quicker than putting her in the ambulance. So the doctor came in and talked to us about that, and she didn't want to do it. She did not want to get on that ventilator. She was like, yeah, once you get on the ventilator, you don't come off of it. That's like the end. So before they put her on the ventilator, me and her kind of, had our last moment together. And she told me that she was proud of me. She apologized to me for all the things that she done and didn't do. And she told me that she wanted to see me happy. She wished for happiness for me. And that was the last conversation I had before they put her on the ventilator. So they asked me and my aunt and my daughter to step out while they put her on the ventilator. And when we came back in after her being, after them putting her on there, she was sedated, but she was still conscious. Like, she wasn't sleep. Like, they couldn't put her to sleep because of the issue she was having with her oxygen levels dropping and her blood pressure dropping. So they could not put her all the way under with putting her on that ventilator. And she fought. She fought it to the point she was ready to snatch that shit out of her throat, bro, and they had to tie up her hands. It was awful. It was awful to see her. Yeah, but that's some shit I never fucking forget, bro. The last few hours of her life, it was an awful sight. Anywho, the flight crew came and got her. They flew her to Kennesaw. Deja went home to go to sleep because she was tired. Me and my aunt, we hopped in the car and went to Kennesaw. And we sat and waited for hours. It was like 3 or 4 hours. We just sat and waited. They promised that we could see her and they was gonna come out and let us come see her. But hours had passed by and they finally let us come see her. And that's where this recording that I have picks up at. It picks up where they finally let us go and see her in the state that she was in, and my feelings and my thoughts, and yeah. I have so many regrets from that day and days and decades prior to that. See, me and my mom, we wasn't the closest. And you all will get bits and pieces of that story eventually. But my biggest regret is we'll never be able to try to work on and repair our relationship. So, rest in peace, mother. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And I love you. And I'll never forget you. So, I'm going to play this recording for you all. It's probably about 5 minutes long. doing this thing where I'm trying to understand why I do certain things. And one thing I want to talk about is right before the last time I saw my mama before she died. She was at Kennestone. Me and my aunt Marie sat in the waiting room 4 hours trying to see her since she had been air flighted to Kennestone from Paulden Wellstar. And they finally let us go see her. And the nurse explained that, he was just having a hard time getting her stable. And, by that time it was like, 12 or something in the morning, midnight, whatever you want to consider it. And my aunt had been with me all day and I needed to take her home. And so we decided not to stay. But as I was leaving, like she was there. I couldn't tell if her eyes was open or not because I didn't get up on her because I think I was scared. And I did not want to accept the reality of what the fuck was going on. And me and my aunt was walking out. My aunt seems to say that she was alert. I was thinking that maybe she was asleep, but because I didn't walk up on her, because I couldn't. I was just scared. So when we was walking out, I didn't tell her I love her. And I'm beating myself up about it, and I don't understand why I couldn't do that. It wasn't like it was hard to tell her I loved her. I told her I loved her plenty of times. So why was it hard that day to tell her I loved her? And now I'm thinking about it, I think it was because I felt like that was going to be me saying goodbye. And I didn't want to say goodbye. Because it was like we all knew, like, subconsciously. We knew, or I knew. I think I knew it when I walked in that door and she looked at me and said, and how somber she was. And she looked at me and said, Elaine, I'm very sick. And I think that's what I knew. That I knew in my soul, my subconscious. It wasn't on my brain. It didn't cross my brain. But I felt it in my body. My energy knew it. And I didn't want to accept it. So I kept rejecting her. And I felt so bad. While all the while, in my conscious brain, sometimes I wanted it to happen. Oh my God, I hate I said that out loud. Oh my God, I'm so awful. I'm such an awful person. It's about time to wrap this episode up. And I would like to do small business. They say stop calling it a small business. I'm really learning the importance of the words you use. So I'm going to do a business highlight. And of course, it's going to be my business. Please shop Dixon Diamonds for your intimate accessories and fashionable statement jewelry pieces. You can visit our website at www.dixanddiamonds.com. That's www.dixanddiamonds.com. And before I go, here's something I want you to hold on to. Say it with me. I am thankful for my mother. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I forgive myself and I'm not a bad person. Thank you for listening as I spread the love through sharing my personal life experiences in hopes that they will inspire you and liberate me. This is healing for both of us. I love you.